Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar brought to you by Bursa Malaysia and managed by our company LifeChamp. Our webinar title today is Integrating AI with Traditional Stocks Picking. So, welcome, everybody. My name is Shin Chu. I'm the moderator for this session. Now, AI has been a hot topic since last year, and a lot of AI themed stocks have really gone through the roof. And today, we're going to look into how do we integrate AI? How do we use artificial intelligence to help us to do stock picking? Now, if you're somebody who wants a little assistant to help you do all the heavy lifting in research, you must stay tuned throughout the session. All right. So, disclaimer, whatever we share in this webinar is only for educational purpose. In no way that we give any recommendation for you to buy or sell any listed securities that we mentioned here. If you decide to make any investment decisions, you're 100% responsible for all your investment risk. Now, allow me to briefly introduce our speaker today. He is a distinguished CFA charter holder and also Chief Operating Officer of Optimus. With 10 years of experience, he brings a wealth of experience and a proven track record of success. So he was a former equity research analyst and also a prop trader. So he spearheaded a team that emerged as champions in the inaugural Bursa Invest Hack 2020. He is none other than Mr. Charlie Yuan. So Charlie, how are you today?
Hi everyone, good day to everyone, and definitely everyone will learn very much from today's session. So have a pleasant night.
All right, great. Yeah, we are hopeful. So let's hand over the control to you. So we can't wait to learn about how do we integrate AI with traditional stock picking. All right, so over to you,
Okay.
Charlie.
So I see that there's a great response even before I start my seminar. There's question coming into the chat box, but no worries. I will address the question at the end of the session. So for now, I will just pick through my slide and then probably some interaction as well. So first of all, I would like to congratulate everyone for coming in for today's session, as some may be just relaxing and then you guys are taking the effort out from today's this Wednesday, right? Wednesday night. So taking out your free time from Wednesday night and to learn something about AI. So today's session we heavily will be more inclined to ChatGPT and also some overall idea about AI in the marketplace now lah. So for as a general perspective, AI is definitely not a new thing in the market already. And then tools with AI have a lot of traction. And so I believe that everyone wants to learn about AI and then implement AI in your daily life. And not just your daily life, you also would like to have them in traditional stock picking. So by picking stock using AI, it's not necessary that AI help you to do everything, but then you will leverage on AI so that when you pick a stock with the help of AI, you can have better chances and also lessen your time of research. So all this can be done using the AI tools available today lah. Okay, so without further ado, I will dive into my slide. So you guys, while I go through my session, you guys can always put your question in the Q&A box. So the chat box is like more interaction lah. So the Q&A box is for you to put your question inside, so that later Shane will moderate the session of the question and answer. So yeah, so this okay. So first of all, today's topic will be more will half of it will be on ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is the revolution game changer in the market, so that everyone can access to AI easily. Why I'm not talking about all those more advanced AI? Because I believe that most of you are not from programming or machine learning or computer science background. So if I talk about things like Python or any programming language, then uh you guys will definitely be very new to it. So it's a bit hard to grasp when it involves programming language for most of us. So today, half of it I will talk about the ChatGPT, and the other half I will talk about the general landscape of AI used in the stock picking or any research that you guys can see. Wait, okay. Okay, so prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering? The first session, prompt engineering. Prompt engineering means that is how you type in your prompt and how do you communicate with the AI system or ChatGPT. So prompt engineering, you definitely will know that if you just type a simple prompt, then your answer that you that you receive from ChatGPT is actually not that satisfying because they ChatGPT doesn't understand your needs and doesn't have the context of your problem. So the question that they give you is more general, and then you will definitely will not get the full grasp of the benefit from the ChatGPT. So the first I'm giving you weapon. So when you have weapon, then when you're using ChatGPT, you will definitely use it better, and then you can leverage on ChatGPT. This first session I will talk about prompt engineering. So how do you talk with ChatGPT? Second session I will dive into how ChatGPT in traditional stock picking and research. And third session, I not as in third section I will talk about the general landscape of AI in our capital market. So first of all is prompt engineering. The first one will be iteration. Iteration means that you are repeating something. You are doing something repetitively. So what does iteration mean to ChatGPT? It means that when you talk to ChatGPT, you follow up with him. You give a follow-up question, or you further dive into certain aspect you like about ChatGPT answers. So it's not just like one question, one answer. So it's like series of question and answer. So after a chain of question and answer, ChatGPT knows your context even better. So when you want to grasp the idea answer out of it, you can actually get the best out of ChatGPT. So for now, ChatGPT, there's still free version, but I'm not affiliated to OpenAI or ChatGPT, but then I would definitely recommend anyone to subscribe for the ChatGPT model because now I believe they have two model. One is the paid model and another one is the company model lah. For company model, ChatGPT will not use your data to train their model, so you can feel safely that when you are using it for work, then you can avoid ChatGPT from using your input data lah. So there's several package from OpenAI lah. But that's not the topic today. The topic today is how do you leverage on the free version itself. So even with the free version, you can still fully utilize it and then ensure that it can deliver value for you. So you can see there's three parts. The first part is feedback and try again. So what is feedback and try again? So when you type in certain prompt, then you like something that he did for you and others you dislike it. So you can follow up with that his answer. You just type, I don't like this part. I prefer you mention more about the content, or mention more about the other thing more in depth. So all these are feedback and try again until the version that check the answer that he gave you, you are satisfied with. So this is something to really look into, which you can keep on ask. So how do you keep on ask? Some of the ways that I normally use is I will give them the context what do I want first, and then if he give me one answer, like for example, you want him to generate a title for the for the event, then you can, and the first title that he gave you, you are not so satisfied with it. So what you do is you ask for more variations. You can just tell him, I want five more variations of the thing you want. So with that prompt, you can actually come up with six possibilities. And all six possibilities, you can choose the best one that best fit you. So the first one is feedback and try again. Second one is ask for variations. So by asking for different variations, then you can ask variation of numbers, can ask variation of context. So all until it fits your needs. And sometimes when ChatGPT explains something you do not understand, you want ChatGPT to specifically clarify it. This is normally used in programming code lah. Let's say you receive a programming code, you doesn't really read code at all. You just put into ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT will definitely tell you what is the code about and possibility tell you what error that does the code has. So with that, you can clarify anything. You can clarify text. You can clarify code. You can clarify image. You can ask ChatGPT the image, how is my design? How is you can upload image and then ChatGPT can based on your image, he will answer based on the image, you should design it this way or that way. So all this possible by ChatGPT. And one thing ChatGPT that is coming up next, which I'm also very excited, is Sora, Sora. So Sora is prompt to video. So by just typing a few prompt, like ChatGPT, you are typing a prompt inside, then it will generate video for you with your prompt. So that one is definitely the the demonstration video given by ChatGPT is definitely a lot way, a, w- is a lot way more professional than the other prompt to AI video we have seen. So some prompt to AI video may see uh especially when you insert your human face, then the throughout the video or throughout the image, your face will change easily and will be altered. So I'm also really looking forward towards OpenAI Sora, which is the video ChatGPT version. Okay, so you can do all this. And this is some example. So for example, can you explain to me the reason go hide recently by searching news? So you can, for this one, searching news, I think you need to have the paid version. So if you don't have the paid version, then uh, you either use a plugin or you pay for ChatGPT. So by searching news, why is the reason go high? Give me in the point form. So he gave me 7 points. So for example, he will say U.S. Federal Reserve policy. So for now, US they are hinting on cutting interest rate. So it's possible to spark a new high in the gold price. So why is that? So if you want to find out why is that so that's called clarification. So you can explain in detail why US Fed rate cut will lead to gold rush. So that's one way you can dive into either. But to cut the story short, so if US cut the interest rate, which for now not yet lah, because the inflation is still quite high lah. So if US cut interest rate at the second half of the year, then uh gold will be because gold and US dollar is like pegged to each other. No, not to peg to each other. It's like the natural hedging towards each other. So when US dollar increase, gold will decrease because the money flow in the market is stat is the the money flow in the market is static. So whenever the money the the money flow out of US dollar, then they will move into the other currency, including gold. So that's the reason why is that happening lah. But then the more important reason is definitely geopolitical tension. we are hearing a lot of geopolitical tension in Palestine and Israel. So it's saddening to hear about that war, but then it's also causing the gold to increase before the before the recent strike. Uh, the gold is already hiking because due to the political tension and also the conflict, and then and then these few days retrace a bit. Last 2 days retrace a bit due to the war because everyone is afraid there's another uh market market crash or market is affected by the war. So but today the market turns back great. And yeah, so we see that uh there's a lot of stock that rebounded. Okay, so there's other reason I will not talk about them, each of them, because I'm just teaching you how to use the prompt, including central bank buying, economic uncertainty, supply and demand dynamics. So if based on the three example that I gave, feedback and try again. So give so I can ask what the feedback I can give is like, please give me factors happening in 2024. So because this they may include some factor that was in previous years. So I just want the latest one. So I just type in this one. It's a follow-up question. So ChatGPT will give me a better answer. Another is ask for variation. Give me five more factors that most investors do not realize. So this is something that investors do not realize. So probably the war or the Federal Reserve, most investors will be very sensitive to it, towards it. But then there are still some hidden factors that investor can find from find from the find from here lah. So from ChatGPT. And third one is clarification. Explain in detail why US Fed rate cut will lead to gold rush. So these are some examples on how you can navigate ChatGPT to make it to answer your question. So there's many questions you can ask. Go high or why certain commodity increase but other decrease. That day I saw is steel price is dropping. So you can also ask why is steel price dropping or why is aluminum price increasing, some all the commodity reasoning. So by knowing the reason, you can anticipate when the news come out of the factor that was in your in here came out, then you can anticipate that gold will increase the next time. Okay, so the other angle is maintain stability in the face of change. So sometimes you love certain part of the answers, or maybe you like the sentence structure, but then you don't like the length. So you can ask, I want the exact same content, and then I want a longer version or shorter version. So all this you can put in ChatGPT. So you can maintain something, and then the other stuff you can alter it so that the the aspect that you like about the answer will be kept, while the aspect that does not like will be altered into a different version. So this is the maintain stability. And add explanation, which includes add detailed comments so that a 5 years old will understand. So maybe what I explained just now about the gold and US, you may not understand. So you can ask ChatGPT, can you write it so that a 5 years old can understand what. So this especially important when you want to talk or you want to explain to others, because we do not want to assume that people from other industry they will actually understand what you are talking about, because you if like for example I'm from a finance background, or I know programming, but then the programming that I want to teach programming, I don't assume that you have the knowledge about the basic of the programming. So I need to use a very layman term to explain it to the mass public lah. So that's why this kind of prompt is very important. So explaining to a 5 years old can understand. If a 5 year old can understand, so definitely the entire crowd that you're speaking to will be engaged with your answers and make sure that they can grasp what you are talking about. Okay, I see there's a lot of question coming in. Keep them coming in. I'll address at the end of the session. And another way is make it more short and concise. So this one is you can ask for longer article, shorter shorter text, or you want stronger as in you want certain sense, like you want sense of humor, stronger sense of humor, or stronger sense of uh certain knowledge you want to impart into this text. So you can definitely tell ChatGPT to do all this stuff lah. So I'm giving another the same prompt, which is can you give me the reason why gold hiked recently by searching news? So maintain stability. I like the explanation. Can you incorporate more data to justify the points? So because they are based on statistic, I want more statistic inside. Like if I see that the text that I have are more textual or more it's like more qualitative lah. So I want more quantitative like statistic inside their text as well. So I can ask them to incorporate that as well lah. More data point. Add explanation. Can you explain them so that a 5 years old can understand? Then this one is very simple lor. So I want to explain the entire thing so that a 5 years old can understand. So not necessarily 5 years old. You can ask them to explain so that at a PhD level, secondary school level, so all this can ensure that your understanding range from 5 years old until PhD level. So all this is very helpful lah. And longer, shorter, faster, and stronger. Give me the top 5 most important factors or and explain it in less words. So you can do all this adjustment. So coming to the third area of prompt engineering. So this one is the time for role play. So definitely in other role means there's for different role, the angle of perspective and also the angle of thought is different. So for example, for equity investment analyst role, then definitely he will give more analysis for you and then give you more investment inclined stuff lah. So if you want more financial planner outcome, then you need to input this. So how do you use the role thing? So the role thing is at the front of your prompt, you just start with act as an investment analyst and do what, and then you interact. Or act as a trader, which if you are more inclined to technical analysis, then act as a trader. Then please give me a strategy that has MACD inside, something like that, and then interact with it. So this one, all the role I put over here is more inclined to capital market lah. But then if you want to join an interview, you can ask him to act as an interviewer. So interview me and let me answer let me give my answers, then you give the feedback. So all this can happen in ChatGPT lah. So ChatGPT can act as your interviewer, can act as your teacher, can act as your language teacher. For example, you want to learn Japanese and or you want to learn Korean, so you can just communicate with ChatGPT and then make sure that they can answer you in the different language. So all these definitely everyone know all these term lah. So all these are some role lah. So I just show example. As an equity analyst, explain to me how e-invoicing in Malaysia will affect the market. So e-invoicing is also a very strong team in the market now because from next year, which is 2025, I believe it's either June or August, every company need to have e-invoicing lah. So there's still changes in the guideline, but then they are coming up with e-invoicing in stages lor. So for this year, I think I remember is 100 million above, company with 100 million certain amount revenue above, you need to comply with e-invoicing first. Then next year is there's three stages. First is above certain amount, second is above a smaller amount. Then third stage is every company, every business needs to imply e-invoicing in their workplace. So if you have transaction with customer or supplier, then e-invoicing need to be in place lor. So for example, as an equity analyst, explain to me e-invoicing in Malaysia, how e-invoicing in Malaysia will affect in the market. So this is different from as an SEO specialist. Explain to me in the article on how invoicing in Malaysia. So this I'm using the same topic, but then the role of ChatGPT is different. I want ChatGPT to act as an equity analyst, or I want ChatGPT to act as an SEO specialist. The outcome given will be different. So what's the difference? So this is definitely he speaks like an equity analyst. We give you step-by-step guidance on what will happen and then what and the reasoning behind it. However, for SEO specialists, by the way, what is SEO? SEO is search engine optimization. So, for example, in Google, if you want your web page to be in the first page, then you need to work on your SEO if you have a web page lah. So, for example, you want more article in your page so that when people search for certain knowledge, then they will find your webpage and then see that you are actually a credible and trustworthy page for them to search for this information and they will remember your brand. So as an SEO specialist, so for SEO itself, they actually have certain criteria, which is a very deep knowledge as well, lah. And it will put in figure like 100 million per year, and then you will put in certain stuff that search engine will be optimized for and will make your article appear in the first page. And they also quote source law. So these are the two different way. If you want explanation, then you find equity analyst. But if you want your web page to be ranked at the top, you'll find SEOs as specialists. The next thing is prompt engineering. And prompt engineering in training ChatGPT, we have three kind of different of prompt. Zero shot prompt. Zero shot prompt means that all the previous example I gave was zero shot prompt because I didn't give zero shot means I didn't give any example for ChatGPT. So zero shot prompt means that I didn't give example. For example, if I before I ask ChatGPT, I know that e-invoicing can make the marketplace more transparent. So I can put the example behind. So for example, e-invoicing can make the market more transparent. But if it's a zero shot prompt, means that I did not give an example. So if I give one short prompt, it's actually giving one example for ChatGPT to reference on. Or I can even give an example and then uh ask ChatGPT to explain to me the example that I give. And multiple short prompt, this one is very useful when if you want to create your own version, but then you have no idea how you should structure it. For example, this one multi-short prompt, you can use it for LinkedIn. For example, you find that certain people LinkedIn page has a lot more traction and a lot more attention, then you may use his version as a reference, but you cannot just use his alone. You find three version of LinkedIn page, and you find that how he write his description, how he write his title. So you search for three person that has similar experience like yours, then you copy it together and then you throw it to ChatGPT. You give ChatGPT multiple short of prompts. So you give him three examples and then ask him to generate your version by incorporating the good parts of the three example that you gave. So this is called you are giving example for ChatGPT lah. So for example, this one is summarized for me in one paragraph for the news below. So this is a zero shot prompt. Uh, this one just a zero shot prompt. So one shot prompt is like you throw in this one. I didn't put in an example, but then you guys can grasp that, I believe. One shot prompt means that you give him one example. Multiple shot prompt means you give him multiple example, so that it can generate the answer that you know from the example, so that at least the example can be mimicked. Okay, so the next one is for paid version, there's a lot of GPTs. So other people train GPTs. They have a special for different kind of area. They put in their framework for it so that when you train using, for example, Copilot, this one is programming. So code smarter, build faster. So by using a Copilot, you can code smarter and build faster lah. If you want to learn how to use Adobe Express, then you can use this lah. So you just search in the GPTs lah. But this one is for paid version. So for over here, you can see I'm using stock market analysis GPT. I'm not affiliated to any to this GPT as well, but then you can see that there's a lot of people using it, and then uh yeah, so very really depends on what context you want. For example, you are debating, and then you just search for debate. If you are, let's say you are trying to use certain software, you just type in the software name, then you can search for the GPT, and the GPT is specially trained for your context. Okay, so we have touched about prompt engineering, so I believe everyone is ready to move on to the next topic. So we already know how to interact with ChatGPT. So the next thing is how do we use ChatGPT in investment or in research so that we can better grasp ChatGPT in this area. So before that, I would like to say that there's different kind of input data. So I screened through the question just now. I saw someone ask, so what other data there's? So in the market, there's many different kind of data. So I already summarized them into all this. So the first one is price data. So if you are more a trader, then you will be looking more at technical indicator or strategy. So from price data is derived into technical indicator, and then with technical indicator, you can generate strategy from it. So this is one pipeline, lor. And other type of data, all these are more for fundamental analysis. So quantitative means that it's a number format. Number format includes financial statement data, economic indicator. So financial statement, you can also throw in a bunch of financial statement into ChatGPT and ask him to explain to you how is the financial of this company. So all this can be done. That's called one shot prompt, ah. So you're giving him one financial data and he can explain to you. If you give him two financial data and you throw both financial data into ChatGPT and you say compare these two company, which company financial data is better, then he will also give you his explanation and also give you the his, his preference, but then you need to take with a pinch of salt. Okay, so this quantitative and also there's economic indicator. Economic indicator, for example, inflation rate or interest rate, all this. You can also use this data as a quantitative source of data to predict the upcoming market. For example, um, whatever US or Malaysia have come out with a economic indicator, GDP, all those, then if you don't understand, you can just put into ChatGPT and ask this, how will it affect my company, or how will it affect the Bursa Malaysia market tomorrow? All this you can ask ChatGPT to help you explain. Other type of input data includes qualitative data, which include annual or quarterly report. So Bursa Malaysia announcement has many reports, and every company need to comply with Bursa Malaysia rules, and they need to release annual report every year and quarterly report 4 times a year. And all this report will definitely give you a lot of idea how is the company performing and whether the company is growing or is facing a lot of hardship. All this can be seen in this report lah. So if you believe that the report, if you believe that the data will the because sometimes the trend is long term, sometimes short term, so that one is definitely something to look into lah. So if, for example, the quarterly report mentioned that gold price increased, so that's why our business improved. But then because gold is a commodity and it's a cyclical product, so definitely some certain times it will increase, certain times it will decrease. So it's so the if the business is based on commodity, then you will know that the investment period will not be that long lah, because eventually when the gold price is down, then the company business will also decline in the stock in the stock price. However, certain factor, for example, let's say growth in AI. So there's an AI company coming up. So the AI company is grasping on this opportunity. So then you can know that the trend is there. So if the company dive into AI space, then and the business is doing something that the AI space really needs, then eventually the long-term investment period is there for you. Another thing is analyst report. There's analysts for certain company, sector report, all these are qualitative. News and announcement is a more fast and more frequent data point. So all these news and announcement will affect company as well. So you can, based on all this news, you can ask how does this news affect the company that you want to see. Others include market sentiment data, forum discussion. All this can be textual data as well to be input into ChatGPT. So one thing I would like to highlight is trading and investment is very different. Trading, we are looking into your strategy. So your speed and your information is definitely very, very important lah. So if you can grasp the opportunity within a short period, or as example, news driven stock price movement, all these are more inclined towards trading lah, because when there's a news release, then the market will reflect very based on the news. So it's something that is time sensitive. However, for investment, I would definitely encourage you not to compete in speed, because it's meaningless to find stocks to invest in 1 hour, because the stock that you want to invest is for long term. So how do you ensure that you can hold for long term? It's based on your research, and by research, you can increase your confidence in the stock. And with confidence, then only you can have patience to wait for a long time. because investment and trading is different. Trading, you may be buying some stock high at a high price and sell it at a higher price. So buy high, sell higher. While investment is definitely for long term, so it's something like buy low, sell high lah. So it's a very different concept in the market. So by having these two clear, then you will know that if you are using ChatGPT for investment and then you want to find stock to invest, it's not about finding the stock, it's about finding the research and by doing the research and finding the reason behind why the investment is worthwhile. So how does ChatGPT works? ChatGPT or any kind of everything in the world is actually a function. So for example, this is a model and there's manual rule-based machine learning. So this is how the model works. So we can input the text data and then come up with a voice, text data, prompt to video, the Sora that I mentioned. So based on different kind of data version, you can input over here and then output from a different version. This is uh this is the example is over here lah. So for example, Word you have reports, news announcement, ESG, corporate industry analyst reports. This one is table form. So what do you put in table? Normally it's financial statement, trading data, for example, open, high, low, close of the company, statistic of the company. You can put it in Excel. And PowerPoint, what do you normally put in PowerPoint? It's your image, your visualization, your graph, and your infographic. So for paid version ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT to generate infographic, generate graph, generate creative image. All these are available. So the others include audio, video, some score, buy sell score, or question. So question is very interesting. For example, you want to you want to ask topic about investment, so but you don't know what to ask the person. Let's say you are a new equity analyst. So you want to interview the management. You do not know what question to ask. You also can ask ChatGPT to generate the question for you. And then based on your question, you can ask ChatGPT how is it best asked so that the management will be more willingly to share with you. All this can be integrated with ChatGPT. So over here, I have put three main ChatGPT usage with traditional stock picking. One is uncovering historical events. So when you want to know about what happened in the past, to understand the past, there's a quote saying that if you do not know your past, you won't know your future. So if you do not know what happened in the past and what happened in the past caused certain event, so when the same event happen again, you have no predictive power because you do not know the historical events. So the first thing is you do research about the historical events in using ChatGPT. Second thing is stock selection. So how do you use ChatGPT for stock selection in the research area? And the third thing is event monitoring. Event monitoring means that once there's an event happening or you want to preempt an event from happening. So everyone knows that when there's a war, Malaysian market uh will definitely uh be more bearish, relatively bearish. But then uh and if you want to preempt some event, you can use this. But I'll dive into it more clearly at the later slide. So this one is I'm using some some past event first. For example, everyone is familiar with COVID-19. So I'm asking give all the listed event in a table and So you can see that another area, another use case of ChatGPT is from text, I want it into a table form so that I can copy into Excel quickly lah. So you can just say that I want in the table, I want the column to be what. So it's easier to visualize and easier to conceptualize using a table lah. So for example, historical event. So along with COVID-19, I'm giving a one shot prompt. I'm giving one example. Give all the listed event in the table. Uh, this is COVID-19 is a pandemic event. So what are the other historical event that is related to COVID-19? So for example, Spanish flu, Asian flu, Hong Kong flu, SARS, MERS, COVID-19. And then I want the columns to be description. I want a general description about this historical event, and then potential sector benefited, pe- potential sector benefited. So I even include event severity. So I say 5 star being very serious. 1 star means not the pandemic is not that serious. So for example, COVID-19 is definitely 5 star compared to the other pandemic. Because COVID-19 is covers the entire globe lah. Okay, event duration. So COVID-19 is definitely still ongoing lah. So all these you can see. Then from here, if there's a significant event happening in the market from historical, then you can brainstorm what sector will be benefited or what sector will be benefited from that incident or that event. For example, for here you can see that healthcare medical research are all the top healthcare, biotechnology, pharmaceutical are all the top sector benefited. While for sector benefited includes economy, business, all this lah. General economy will be affected from pandemic. So this is a old case. Let's use some new case. As this is actually a follow-up question lah. Follow-up question for the previous case. So after you know the historical event, then you will need to know the second part, which is the stock selection. So you can also ask ChatGPT to generate a list of stock that is related to pandemic. So you say list me all healthcare and pharmaceutical sector that benefit from pandemic. Give me a table lah. So all these are some subsector benefited, which are all these reason for benefit. This one you can guys can read it lah. And then potential leading companies in this subsector, you would actually also know lah. But then this one is all US company. I said perform one for Malaysia, so you also generate one for Malaysia lah. Some are non-listed, some are definitely listed lah. So okay, so this is a past event, so I use another event. Okay, so this is actually three part lah. So uncovering historical event is this part, the first. Uncovering historical after you uncover historic event, then you need to select the stock. Then after select the stock, definitely you need to continue research. And then one thing is you can preempt the event from happening. So how do you preempt the event from happening? So let's say I pick Pharma Berhad as my stock. So I want to know what are the potential events that can cause impact on Pharma and give me a table, event severity, what is it benefit or harmful for the company? So for example, new pandemic outbreak definitely it says harmful lah. But then we all know that uh w- because for Malaysia context, we will government Pharma will definitely have contract with the governments to what's the word called to distribute and also to have vaccine for everyone. So that's why it's both benefit and harmful. So this one definitely everyone knows. government contract renewal will be beneficial for this company. So all these are some event for you to preempt lor. So when you see there's a news happening in the market, then you can actually uh when there's news in the market about this, then you can quickly react. So for example, uh certain website you can link your stock, your watch list stock into into Telegram message or some you can link with notification, either notification or Telegram message. So all this can actually help you to ensure you are stay alert with the latest news lah. Of course, uh, news space is more time sensitive and then it's more inclined to trading lah. But then if you want to invest, you also can use ChatGPT to help you research. Okay, so all these are some event for you to preempt lah. So for example, this is one example which pandemic everyone is very familiar. Maybe I use another example. So along with recent Japanese rate hike, so this is a very tricky incident because Japanese from the last 70 years, this is the first time Japan raised its interest rate. So Japan has been in negative interest rate for quite some time. And if you deposit money into the bank, sometimes bank will also charge you management fee, so your money will decline in value. So this is called negative interest rate. So it's definitely not wise to deposit money in a negative interest rate bank lah, because instead of giving you interest, he's actually charging you management fee. So and so what are the along with the recent Japanese rate hike and other Japanese event I want to come. So what are the similar event that happens that is related to Japanese rate hike? So you also give me some event lor. So for example, end of negative interest rate policy, asset price bubble collapse. So what are the potential sector benefited and potential sector benefited from this kind of event lor? So of course, negative interest rate or interest rate hike is very common in other countries, but not in Japan. So I would like to actually know that what opportunity will happen if Japanese rate hike, or what harm will it cause to the market if the Japanese rate hike? Because it already hike for the first time, so subsequent time what will really happen, I can actually get it from ChatGPT as well. For example, there are other events, for example, introduction of Abenomics in 2012. So there's certain sector benefited and certain sector benefited. Okay, so because certain industry, if the because Japan used to be negative interest rate, zero interest rate, so they have cheap borrowing. So there's a lot of company taking loans and they may be impacted because when Japanese rate hike, then definitely certain money will be flowing back to Japan because the interest rate hike, people will be scared that what if it increase a lot, then my borrow my debt will increase in the interest rate as well. So that's why it will be a domino effect as well. So certain what sector reliant on cheap borrowing in Japan, for example, real estate and construction, automotive and manufacturing, and others lah. This one you guys also can. And the same thing, based on Japanese H high, what are the what are potential to benefit from and challenge in this Japanese sector? So certain companies they will give you lah, certain companies, listed company. Then uh definitely this is just a first layer of the research on the company to discover investment theme or investment thesis or investment catalyst for the stock. But then a more in-depth research are still required lah. So tourism will be impacted and education and training also. So this may not be taught by us human being, but ChatGPT can brainstorm everything ah. As an equity analyst, find me recent Japanese investment in Malaysia. So if this a different way of checking how is Japanese related to Malaysia, whether the Japanese rate hike will affect Malaysia. So Japanese company did invest in Malaysia in certain area lah. And also this is a third example. So this is on renewable energy and EV related component sector. So yeah. So the three parts is first is historical event discovery, and second part is stock selection, and third part will be to anticipate what event will be happening. And the last part, I will spend a few more minutes before I open up for Q&A. So AI has vast application. So these are some of the application. For example, stock prediction, which means that you're using AI to predict the stock price, which is definitely not a smart way because most people fail in predicting stock price. But then there are other things you can predict. For example, you can predict volatility, you can predict uh volume. All this will have something to do with stock. And then all these are better in terms of prediction success ah. So one is stock prediction. Sentiment analysis normally will use certain part of NLP or some texture to understand the sentiment of the company. We can generate score out of the company. So this is actually sentiment analysis. Algorithmic trading with AI strategy. So for example, you have automated trading and then you have AI strategy. So this two is a different thing lah. Algo trading means you automate the trading process. AI strategy means that you are using certain data to train the strategy, and the strategy can actually make your make a profitable trade for you based on the data given to your model. So for AI strategy, what input data I already explained. For example, the quality data, certain company in overseas, they use merely on news data or tweets. Twitter changed into X, company X, and all these are actually uh used to train the model. So with all the news coming in, they will predict whether the stock price movement, whether they buy or sell. Portfolio management, definitely you can apply AI in it. Quantitative modeling as well, and AI reporting. So AI reporting means that you are inserting certain, for my company, we actually are doing this. AI reporting means that we create reports out of in Busan, Malaysia. So this is based on AI data lah, AI and vast data. Okay, so this part is type of AI. So what type of AI? So AI is very broad. It actually has many areas lah. For example, machine learning, some of you guys heard of them before. It's one of it. This one, natural language processing, is more on text. Speech recognition, they can understand your speech, and expert system, they are making some decision in some manufacturing companies, robotics, computer vision. So whether AI can become like us human being. So if let's say AI have a computer vision and it can understand speech, it can do what a human being can do in every area, then technically AI is as competent as a as a human lah. So that is what we call AI reaching consciousness eventually. So there are different kind of areas, and then senses wise, we have different kind of senses. We have vision, we have speech, we have language, we have emotion detector. So all these are different areas in AI. And before this, the last two slides, artificial narrow intelligence is where we are now, where we are currently locating, because the AI we have now is only able to do specific tasks. It cannot become a generalist. It cannot perform general tasks. So if you want a AI to act exactly as a human being, it still cannot perform it because we haven't reached AGI yet. So ANI is now the AI that we all have now is all artificial narrow intelligence. And then once we reach artificial general intelligence, then the next thing will be AI will be becoming artificial super intelligence, which means that AI is smarter than human, or AI can produce a lot of technology, can produce a lot of uh weapon or tools for us. And all these tools, we human being isn't that creative to create yet. And then at that time, the world will be evolving really fast with technology because AI is even smarter than us human being, and then AI can actually create stuff just like human being but with more knowledge. So all these two are still you will still see in sci-fi movie lah. So the difference is this lah. So artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial super intelligence. So this is a general guideline, and yeah, so there's definitely a lot of topic talking about jobs. But then good thing is AI came to our world to increase efficiency so that humans can have more time and enjoy more lah. So it's not definitely your job will replace. But then if AI at one point at the point of time AI is at once enough, our food, our accommodation, all our necessities the cost of producing it can be so low that many of us do not even need to have a job, which means that at the, at a certain time when AI is so advanced that the cost of producing certain stuff is so low, and we can actually have more free time and have less work time, and we can accommodate our family and also traveling. So all is there's a good picture about it lah. So not just looking at the bad part that oh we are all losing job. So there's actually only one side of the picture. So the other side is we can actually enjoy more and also enjoy product at a really low cost. Okay. So yeah, so next I'll open up for the Q&A session, and Shane will be the moderator of the session.
Thank you so much, Charlie, for showing us how do we integrate AI into stock picking. So today, I guess many of us has walked away with tips on how to use ChatGPT to help ease our research work. So if you have any question to ask our speaker, Charlie, please type them at the Q&A box, not the chat box. Okay, just write them out at Q&A box. So we have got so many questions on our panel, but I think due to time constraint, we will not be able to address all of them, but we'll do our best to cover as many of them as possible. Right. Charlie, you have talked at length about how do we use ChatGPT to do research. I think given us many examples. So are all this research done, how are the research done by 3.5 model and also 4.0 model different?
Okay, so the difference between 3.5 and 4.0, one significant difference is 3.5 is trained on a limited set of data, and 4.0 is more vast. The data set is more vast. And also, uh, 4.0, there's a lot of framework inside lah. So for example, if you want certain area, for example, stock market, then you can search for stock market GPTs. So with all these GPTs, you can ensure that the framework, because ChatGPT is not just a chatbot, it's not like you ask question, you ask answer. A lot of ChatGPT, you need to incorporate framework into it. If you are doing business, then you need business framework. If you are investing, then you need investment framework. So all these framework are also integrated by other content creator or other GPT creator. So all this GPT 4.0 actually is more powerful in a way that they have a lot more framework lah. Instead of 3.5, you are only relying on ChatGPT data. And also 4.0, you can s- search the internet, which means that certain issue, incident or certain event is relatively new in the market, and they even ChatGPT doesn't happen in the history of the data yet. So this kind of new event you can search, you will need to use 4.0. So that's the difference. Three difference. One is the number of data set trained, and second set is the recency of the data. And third one is the GPT with the framework lah. So I would say these three are the main difference from my point
Okay,
of view.
thanks so much for the clarification. Now, I know that Google Gemini is real time. I mean, they provide real time data. How about ChatGPT 4.0?
Okay, that's actually a very common question asked every time. How is it compared to Google Bard, Gemini? I would say I because uh I would say Gemini is also compatible, but then I still think that Gemini hallucinate a lot lah. Sometimes
Hallucinate.
still. So what is hallucinate? Hallucinate means that he doesn't really have the answer, but then he will tell you until he thinks that that's the answer, which means that it's not a real fact, and then he makes it make it's like making up story lah. Sometimes Gemini has a more inclined to hallucinate lah. That was a Google Bard version previously. Normally I will tell audience lah, but then recently whether the problem is solved or not, but then I still hear stories that there's hallucination issue lah. So I will still prefer ChatGPT lah. And then with because ChatGPT is like the first to market and grabs most of the audience, and then Google Bard come in the picture at a later stage. So that's why definitely ChatGPT has the first mover advantage as well lah, to be able to actually like uh be trained, and also with more people using, then definitely he can reinforce their knowledge and learn from our usage as well. So that's actually a difference lah. But then you guys are free to use Gemini as well lah. Just that you need to be take note of potential issue lah, which I'm not sure whether it's solved for now lah for the whole. Yeah.
Interesting. I from your explanation, I think I may not want to count on somebody who hallucinate a lot lah. Alright. So I guess that I reckon that you have used ChatGPT more in your research to ease your research work, right?
Yeah.
So from your case study that you presented just now, some of them are based on recent event like the Japanese, I mean the BOJ have raised the interest rate as such. So I believe it should be done by the 4.0 version. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm using 4.0 version. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question here is that is there a specialized GPT for trading other than the general chat?
Uh, GPT or trading. So for trading, like what I mentioned earlier, is three part. You need to have the data, then you may create some technical knowledge or indicator. Then the third part is the strategy. Then only with the strategy, then only you can trade. So it's everything is linked together lah. So for trading, really depends. For example, if you want to automate your trade, there are some there are some platform what I heard including some maybe multi-chart or MT5 certain banks, certain company do roll out this automated trading stuff. So from that part, you can specifically search for the multi-chart or MT5 site, and then you can actually convert them into a strategy, which means that asking ChatGPT to write the strategy based on your knowledge using because you are turning your thoughts and the data into a programming language. And with the programming language, you can impart them into the software or the software that you have lah. So there's one part you can use it for your trading. And if you want to have trading, because trading definitely counts on speed lah. Definitely you will need probably maybe my company Trade Wizard. You you can use them for faster stock selection and also charting. So ChatGPT, if you really count ChatGPT on the speed, then it will definitely be slower lah. But so that's why today's session I'm more towards like research or investment. And but for strategy wise, you can use the ChatGPT lah to turn your idea into a real strategy, a working code, working programming code. Even you does not understand programming code, you can turn that into a programming code and then plug it into a software so that either they can trade for you or even trading wheel, you can plug it into trading wheel script. You can create your own script using ChatGPT. All these are possible. So trading wise, I will definitely look into strategy and also automated trading, probably strategy as well. Or you can look into my company, Trade Wizard. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Um, Eugene, who is on the line, asked this question. He said that he used ChatGPT and Google Gemini, and he noticed that the Bursa companies have an issue because they are not as transparent as US companies. Therefore, the AI model cannot find as much information online as easily. So, is there any solution to address this?
Yes, there's definitely a solution. So, uh, so the way you ask ChatGPT is you are using zero shot prompt, means you are giving a zero example. So, for example, if you want to, if you have the source of data, for example, at one point I'm creating I'm researching on the IPO in Malaysia. Definitely, ChatGPT doesn't have the IPO data, and ChatGPT doesn't have the knowledge about company because it's very new. Only Bursa Malaysia announcement have the IPO prospectus. So what I do is I copy relevant text of ChatGPT. I just upload the entire PDF or just copy relevant text, and then ChatGPT will based on the available information. Then I kind of because I feed ChatGPT with some example, so it's actually a one-shot prompt or multiple shot prompt. So if I feed ChatGPT with example, then he can work out something out from the information I gave him. So with all this multiple shot prompt, I can have a better grasp of the company and not necessarily need to read the entire IPO prospectus. I can actually really quickly grasp an idea how to whether I should invest or not in the IPO. So that's actually something you can do lah, which is put in example. What example? In my slide I have certain input data. For example, quarterly report, annual report, even IPO prospectus, analyst report. All this you can just copy and put into ChatGPT or even upload the PDF. For 4.0, you can upload PDF lah. So yeah, so definitely will ease your understanding of the company using the multiple short prompt technique. Yeah. Hope that answers Julian G.
Just to
Is it-
get an analysis of a company which information is not so publicly available. Yep. I can you hear me? Because I see a notice that my internet connectivity
yeah,
is
just
unstable.
now I can't hear, but now can already. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Now
I
now
think
you are
now
back. You are back.
I'm back. Okay. Recently, time internet is a little bit down.
Yeah.
So hopefully today my line is um good. All right. So just I was saying that that was a very interesting trick for us to feed ChatGPT data to help us to sum up some research work. All
Mm.
right. The next question on my screen is that how does AI handle unforeseen events or changing market conditions that may not be reflected in historical data?
Okay, that's a really good question. Uh, I would say unforeseen event that has not happened in historical data. Okay, so this is uh okay, I would say that if human as a human being, we definitely is more is definitely poorer in identifying all these events. If there's a new event like let's say there's a UFO alien coming in, what will happen to stock market tomorrow? So this is unforeseen it's unforeseen and also doesn't happen in history before, historical event before. So I would say it's it may not paint the real picture, but then it will definitely give some lights. Like if there's a UFO, probably military may spike, for example, lah, because there may be a defensive from the world citizen. So ChatGPT still will have certain reasoning behind to ensure that the answers that he give you may not be the real picture, but then it will definitely paint something for you to actually connect your event with the sector or the industry that he recommend. Because ChatGPT is not just the data, the historical data. You will also have certain reasoning behind with certain logic. So it's definitely comparable to human thinking and he can brainstorm for you. So even though it's not the real picture, but then he can brainstorm and you need to still take it with a pinch of salt lah. So it's because it's research and research you do know that it's not 100% what you predict will happen as well lah. So I would say it definitely help in your research process, but then the final decision still lies on your hand lah.
Mm, all right. Thank you so much, Charlie. Um, for content creation on Bursa Malaysia, so how does the AI ensure that the information is accurate and compliant with regulatory requirements? So that's the next question by Ashar.
Okay, so if you want to fully comply with Bursa Malaysia, then definitely you need to train the ChatGPT model with the security guidelines, if including licensing handbook from SC or other guidelines, other handbook. So if there's a properly trained GPTs on that, then you can definitely ensure that it's 100% compliant. But then if of course, the general knowledge you do know like you cannot give advice, you cannot give buy or sell recommendation. So all these are the really strict area, and certain part of it you if you ensure that you do not touch this area, this common area, or then you're actually saving a lot of your problems lah. But then if you want to fully comply, then what I mentioned is there will need to be a GPT trained on the handbook, trained on the all those CM capital market framework, capital market requirement, all those we need to develop it lah. But then I don't think there's one now lah. But you can do it and you can coin the first maybe coins what compliance GPT or something. Yeah, that's definitely a very good idea. And
Mm.
yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Charlie. Now we have AI that can aid us in doing research, right? So the next question from Michael is that is there any open API to access and place the buy and sell orders for us?
Open API to place buy and sell order for us. Can you repeat again?
Yeah, that's the question. Is there any open API to access and place the trade orders, whether buy or sell, uh, on Bursa Malaysia?
Okay. This only from my point of view. So far, you definitely need to uh speak with uh relevant parties lah. So for now, uh, up to my knowledge is doesn't really have such thing because to buy and sell is definitely a regulated area in Bursa and also SC. So if you want, then you need to either be a PO, participant, PO is participant organization, which is like you need to have dealing in securities. All these definitely will need to have a license. So so far, it's either you speak with your broker and then your broker whether they are open to have this kind of cooperation to open up their they call it direct market access lah. So if they are okay to open for you, then especially if you are institutional, then you have a higher chance lah, because you are definitely have a higher trading volume. So there are broker house opening up for all this opportunity lah. But then you will definitely need to speak to them lah. But then so far there's no open API lah. I do know that overseas market, overseas stock, even stock, certain broker like interactive broker, they have like open source like not say open source like you can freely use their platform to write code and then place order. But then in Malaysia, so far we are not seeing that yet lah, unless you are in the institutional space lah. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Charlie. So the next question is, besides ChatGPT, are there any other AI tools or platforms that you recommend for generating investment ideas alongside the traditional research methods?
Other AI tools. Um, so there's actually a lot lah. Uh, Depends if you want satellite image, then you can actually search for satellite companies and then find some imagery of satellite because I actually taught that in another session, which is the alternative data. So certain data set like satellite imagery, you will definitely need to access to this kind of AI AI place, but then there are a lot lah, but then if if you want me to speak from here, I don't think you can grasp the knowledge as well lah. For example, knowledge graph, you can create knowledge graph out of data as well using knowledge graph is an area of AI as well. Just that uh you can definitely connect me in LinkedIn and then we can have a chat if you want to know more because this is definitely a more advanced topic like knowledge graph, satellite imagery, all those are related to AI and even you can anticipate the upcoming Microsoft Copilot. You can create document, all those. For investing, definitely there's a lot of different kinds of data source, statistical data source, mobile apps data source. There's a lot of available data source in Malaysia as well. So yeah, you can definitely connect me in LinkedIn. Just search me Charlie Yuan Tingjun CFA CQF. Yeah.
All right. So thanks, Harley, for doing this Q&A session for us. Looks like we have addressed many questions here. So apologize if you're not able to address all questions because we only have so much time to share with you in this 1.5 hour session. All right. So hope that all of you here has gained a lot of ideas of how to use ChatGPT to aid your investment research. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from the Chief Operating Officer of Tap Optimus, who is Mr. Charlie Yuan. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day ahead. Good night. Okay.